lost my job. Usually I'd be freaking out right now, but things are okay. But it's just kind of typical, of the condition, I guess you could say. I was kind of hurt by the whole thing. I thought I was doing good, man. I mean, I really did. I thought I was doing great. It's kind of hard to correct anything whenever people don't correct you. And it seems to be a common theme, man. Like, I don't know why people have a hard time telling me anything. I don't know, and not to sound melodramatic about it, but it's like, man, so it almost feels like, I'm not worth, anybody taking that time and fucking correcting shit. You know what I mean? I try to be helpful in every single way, man. I mean, whenever there wasn't anything to do at my desk, I would get up, I would sweep floors, I was fucking willing to do anything, man. And I wonder if that kind of backfired, in a sense. This is another common theme, I'll get into a company, I'll get into a group of people, and I have half the group thinks I'm amazing, fucking they're very nice. And then the other half of the group is just trying to tear me down. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you're processing on some frustrations and also you're self-reflecting on this job versus other jobs and things like that. But there seems to be a recurring theme. So
it feels that way.
Yeah. Okay. So one, you said like correction and feedback, because this can happen in relationships too. Like someone can think that they're doing great with their partner and then all of a sudden their partner's like, no, I'm unhappy. But as far as like feedback at the job, have you been in situations where you have been overseeing other people and you've given corrections and feedback and they just don't listen and you eventually say like, man, I don't feel like doing this anymore?
Yeah, I've been there. And but I try to lay it all out, you know what I mean? I had 3 days of training, dude. Some dude came down from up north. I mean, it doesn't matter the things that you figured out, it doesn't matter the things that you caught, the problems you solved on the fly, it doesn't matter any of those things. You fuck up and then it seems like they get this idea and then bam, it's just really hard to pull them back from that, to be redeemed from it, I guess you could say.
Well, was it something that was like, in their opinion, unforgivable? Like, or was it just a repetitive mistake? Or they just said, hey, we're paying you too much for what we need and anybody can sweep the floor at a less amount?
Even in Wyoming, bro, dude, fucking real tight knit group of guys, but they like to go out and fucking drink every fucking night. And it's like, dude, we got to get up at 4 in the fucking morning. Dude, I got to get up at 3 to take a shower, get geared up, get all my shit together, and let's get downstairs so we can go complete a fucking project. And everybody else wants to get hammered and fucking high five. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Fucking, I separate. I can win, but I don't win. He wins. You know what I mean? They don't see me. Those other guys, they don't.
I see what you're saying. That you're stuck in the zone where you can't get credit for what you do good, but then at the same time, all negative stuff you do gets highlighted. Let me give you an example of something that happened to me a couple years ago. I was at a production plant, right? And it was clock in, clock out. But during lunch, you were supposed to clock out and then clock back in 30 minutes. You could take a 30-minute lunch. But everybody else,
right.
They would just forget to clock out and then take an hour lunch, and then the system would automatically remove 30 minutes for lunch. It was an automated system. I would clock out myself, walk out the thing, go on a lunch, come back in 36 minutes and clock back in. And I took a 36-minute lunch, but they would take an hour lunch and the system would only dock them for 30-minute lunch. And I was like, dude, everybody in here is taking an hour lunch and getting clocked for 30 minutes. I'm taking a 36-minute lunch and losing 36 minutes. And they got pissed that I was even mentioning that, because that was now fucking up the culture of how they do things. So that kind of threw I was just like asking questions like, hey, how come none of y'all clock out? and I figured it out later. But I was all of a sudden a threat. I was all of a sudden a threat to their little system that they had inside the organization.
Dude, I mean, now that you mention it, so, okay, I gathered the day to day, and there's a lot of holes, you know, there's a lot of big gaps of fucking time, you know what I mean? And they offered me this training, dude, so I started doing it, you know what I mean? I would do what I was doing and in between orders and stuff like that, and there was nothing to do out there in the warehouse. I would do this training, and I fucking completed all of it. Like, I even fucking completed the training. Nobody else has completed the training. Everybody that I spoke to about the training was like, nah, I don't do that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, fuck, I'll do it. You know, and it was a bunch of good stuff as far as calculating, you know, fill percentages and how inventory works and how to order and what to order and how to come up with the fucking, you know, inventory list, you know, how to basically calculate it, you know what I mean? And I thought it was really cool. So, I mean, I wrote it all down, you know, I had a big old thing of notes right there. And
what did they say to you when they laid you off? Because I've been laid off before where they just say, hey, Kyle, look, some heads got to roll. We're reorganizing. There's restructuring. Your services are no longer required. Boom. No explanation. No nothing. Just, hey, did they give you a reason or specifically identify something?
No, they didn't specifically identify a problem, but, you know, a guy that had been injured since before I got there, he came back, dude. And really, it's probably nothing personal at all. You know, I'm sure they needed a spot for him because he's light duty and stuff like that. But, you know, whenever I had asked, you know, about what was going on there, like, he was just like, I just don't have enough time to break away and teach these things. And
oh, so the guy that came back already understood some of the stuff that was injured. So they just like, it's a better fit at this time.
Yeah.
It's easier for us just to bring someone else in that already knows than to invest energy into another person because we're not even sure you're going to be here for the long term, that kind of thing. I mean, it sounds a lot like even relationships too, right? Like, you might go back to someone from the past instead of investing energy in someone new because you kind of already know what's going on there, and you know.
Yeah, I think that actually happens quite often.
Yeah,
I think that happens more often than we think. It's rough because, you know, going through the introductions, taking the time to do all this and kind of create a relationship, you know, that is now once more gone. I mean, I know you've seen it too with people coming in and out of the house and perhaps even groups and different things like that. You know, people, you get a connection with them and they're gone. You know what I mean?
You're really touching on something in like that's getting to the issue of like with me, why it was hard for me to form a lot of friendships, because when I was in leadership positions, the last 7 years, I've been in positions where I had to be super close with someone and at the same time be willing to send them out to be literally homeless on the street. And that affected the way I interacted with other people. That was a difficult thing. And I had to learn how to, I guess, protect my energy too and not get too invested. But I wonder if that's been a kind of lopsided development with me, a lopsided development to where it's made it more difficult to form meaningful connections with women too, because like my energy is almost like militaristic in a way, man.
I kind of like how you put that though, your energy and where you invest it and things like that, because that's exactly how I'm feeling. I'm feeling completely fucking drained, dude. Completely drained. I'm dreading having to do this with another group of people.
Solution for you on what kind of work you're going to be looking at now, but let's end on something forward looking.